told you, man, we took flight, ain't no coming down.
Yeah.
Let's get money. Yeah. Let's do it. Y'all better be ready, man.
Major Key Podcast, Season 3, Episode 14. We in the building. I'm in here with the one and only Stephen Young. What's up, my brother?
Peace and blessings to you.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Thanks for stopping by here, man. And we're going to get it done. Listen, this man right here, I met you at the cemetery when they opened up, for the Muslims here at Egg Harbor Township. And you were just so generous to bring me on your show like that quick. It was something that just happened, and we were just talking right before the show. It was by the grace of God, but it was something that happened so fast. And I was like, man, I need to get you on my show. I need to extend my hand over to your to you on my show. And this Major Key Podcast, what we do on this show, especially this season, we're getting your story, we're getting your history as far as what you what you do and what it took for you to get to where you at. And Stephen Young, you got a lot of accolades. You got a lot of things under your belt. First and foremost, as I said, formal introduction. You're on Major Key Podcast, and thank you for coming by, man.
Peace and blessings, brother. It's a blessing to be here at Major Key Podcast. This is something I've always been hoping and praying to do. And I'm here live now, and it means a lot to me, as well as the listening audience that follows me, to be with me. I don't want no followers. I want somebody, if you be beside me or you're not with me at all. I don't need no followers. You got me started already. But Brother Steve is my name. They call me Steve. My name is Steve Young. I say brother because that's all I want to be to everybody, man. You forget all the titles. When all the titles gone, you're still your brother and sister.
Right.
You know what I mean? And try to keep that real.
Right.
So, I originally from Washington, D.C.
Okay.
And, after I graduated from high school, I got in my car, started driving.
Yeah.
And I didn't know where I was going.
You was on the road.
You just on the road, you know what I mean? and back then, I had my little things in the ashtray and then,
Yeah. I get it.
Up front, I got to keep it 100 with you.
Yeah. Listen, on this show, we keep it 100. All the way 100, so I wouldn't expect nothing less. But go ahead, you good.
Yeah, so I was driving, didn't know where I was going from D.C.
Right.
So I just kept on down Route 40, and that led me to the ocean. I'm like, man, where am I at? I couldn't go no further. You couldn't drive. The ocean right there, the body of water. I've never seen nothing like that before. That large. And you see it in African movies and different things. And everything. But to be landed here, it was like discovering something. And that's when I basically discovered myself. I came here, I got seen the casinos, and I seen how that was working out.
Yeah.
And I said, wow, I see all this money jingling, the people in line to get money.
It was different back then.
That was in 78, man.
Yeah. Oh, wow, it was different back then.
Up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So basically, I went back home and came back, put all that stuff in my car, and I'm like, I got to check this out, and I think this is where I want to be.
Yeah.
And, I worked in the casino industry.
Okay.
Pit balls.
How many years you do that?
Oh, man, about 3 to 4 years.
Okay.
I worked at resorts first.
At resorts, all right.
Then when Playboy opened,
Playboy, that was the Golden Nugget, and then it turned it, no, that was the Trump, right? Trump Regency?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, being there, I got blackballed,
Okay.
Because blackball is basically, for those who don't know, let me tell you some experience.
Yeah, let us know.
When you start being discriminated against, because this white boy called me a dummy and told me, to dummy up and called me the N-word, right? I'm from D.C. We ain't taking that.
Yeah, not at all.
So, and I'm not used to it.
Right.
So, I clapped off the game and I said, nah, we not doing this. So about me reporting him, I left. The next day when I came back in, they wrote me up and told me I was terminated. He had wrote me up and they listened to the white boy.
Wow.
So then the more I tried to fight for my job back through NAACP, Division of Civil Rights, Equal Employment Opportunity, they label you as a fighter. So
aggressive,
if you label you as a fighter, then don't nobody really want to hire a fighter.
Wow.
So by doing
that followed you?
That's blackballs. That's the blackballs. Blackballs mean nobody want to hire somebody to, fight. It's the best thing that could happen to me. So I ended up, one day, at 31 off Virginia Avenue, which is a abandoned building. Right. You know what I mean? And from there, I became an activist. My first activism was fighting Donald Trump. In Taj Mahal. He wanted to widen the road on Virginia Avenue, and a bunch of Hispanic and black people, women and children, we was in the building.
Right.
So I studied our rights and everything, and I took some trash cans to block off the street. Said, your buses, your money ain't getting up in here,
Yeah. What, they gonna run you over? They can't run you over.
Oh man, we was waiting, man. So next thing I know, we were surrounded by a SWAT team, fire department, police department, sharpshooters on the roof, We didn't have no weapons on anything.
Yeah.
And from that, first time I went to jail. And I'm negotiating with the police. I ain't never negotiated.
Wow.
So,
Damn, it went that far,
yeah,
man. What year was that?
That was in
80?
86.
86, okay.
And, from there, I went to jail for the first time in my life. They charged me, and I fought it. And I had to do 30, 40 days in jail in the county. I did it.
Right.
There, I started to reading and learned about myself. I read the Holy Quran entirely. I read the Holy Bible entirely.
Right.
So I got to atone within myself. And so when I came home, I became the manager of the building.
Wow.
They said, found out we was correct because we had our first black mayor, Jim
Usher. I remember Usher.
First black
I said
mayor.
it right when you said his name. I remember. I know a little something.
He had this guy, another black guy that was in the way that wouldn't help us. His name was General Briscoe.
Okay.
So I'm dealing with a general in the army.
Yeah.
Only army I had was the community.
Yeah. Sometimes that's good enough, man.
And a big brother named Big Mike, he was our general in the hood, our mayor in the hood.
Right.
But with that, man, we were able to manage the building, have it fixed up. The building became affordable through Section 8 certificates and everything else like that.
Okay.
Some people moved out and got their own housing. Some people moved other places. But the building still stands, and Donald Trump went bankrupt 4 times and lost that Taj Mahal casino.
Yeah.
So it showed you can fight people with money if you have the heart and the faith.
Yeah.
And we beat him. And we, it's just an example of what you can do. And that building still standing today affordable. So that was my first action with...
Right. 86.
Yeah.
So that's what actually drew you to activism, being done wrong, being blackballed, like you just said, and not taking it, because enough is enough. We go through these things, and we're still going through these things. Yeah. But enough was enough for you at that time to really stand up for yourself and the community to say, we're not taking this anymore.
No. Can't.
And right after that, did you continue on with the activism, or were you just a manager at that point?
Yeah, I became a manager, in the building and everything. And it was very interesting because we had fought the system. And everybody that tried to fight the casinos and then fight the city hall lost. We won. So we were seeing it as an example of what you can do when you stay together and have faith.
Yes.
But no one else really followed up on that.
Yeah.
And
Afterwards, right?
that was
After
a sad
that.
thing, because we seen Pitney get moved, and we like, Pitney, look, we showed you what to do. You right there on the expressway.
Yeah, you're right there. Yeah.
Bacharach Village. We said, look, man, stand up. VAC, all the other places we start seeing them. Gentrification. Gentrification basically means people of certain genes be removed.
Right.
So they was gentrifying the neighborhood, and they was doing it with people with houses in the inlet and everything, man. So with eminent domain.
Eminent domain, yeah. They still did that. They did that when they was building the ocean.
That's right.
They was kicking people out of the houses or telling them, listen, you either got this amount of, we're going to give you this amount of money.
Exactly.
So, wow.
And eminent domain, so only supposed to be used for schools, highways, and they changed it to economic development.
Wow.
So under Casino Reinvestment Development Act, they use that as a tool to remove people for economic development.
Wow.
And that's why they was going to try to move us.
Right.
Economic development for the rich people, for Donald Trump.
That's exactly what it is.
That's
There's no
exactly
getting around it. There's no sugarcoating it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
We went to court and everything. They was like, look, but we found out the one key thing, and we want to teach that to the listener audience, when we learned about Virginia Avenue, by fighting it even in court. The judge told us that we have possession of the building. And basically, we had possession, we had ownership. More than the owner. The owner was some, Jew from out of Margate.
Yeah.
So by having ownership, we learned that possession is 9/10 of the law.
Yes, absolutely.
And anybody get caught out there.
Caught with anything, possession. They say it to us all the time.
9/10. It's 10/10 is the whole. 9/10 of the law is possession.
Yeah.
So by us having possession, we took the building
Yeah.
From a millionaire Jew, we fighting this guy down in Margate.
Wow.
We fighting the powers that be, politicians, so forth, casinos, the money, millionaires, Trump. We won.
Yeah.
And that was something I knew they were gonna come after us after that. But
I mean, when you got a team, when you have a team like that, and you show that unity,
yes.
you know, you can move mountains.
But it created a lot of jealousy and envy too.
Right. Within this team or other people?
The community.
With the community, okay.
The community, especially a lot of other black brothers.
Right.
Because the woman and children was looking at me like, hey, man, he's standing up. Where you at, Dad? Where you at, Grandpa, Uncle?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why you not standing up? What's the, brother,
Yeah.
to bring about a whole. So when you hear that conversation at a dinner table,
Yeah.
your wife and your children talk, it brings about a jealousy if you don't, because you're accountable, because you know now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, getting past that is a very key thing, but I knew it existed.
Right.
Because I had to deal with that with different people in the community, mostly with our politicians. And they still like that today.
Yeah. Politics it don't change. None of that changes, man. All right, so moving a little, past that, and you became an activist. I said you were into activism with the community. Were you ever any part of the NAACP? Were you a part of that?
Oh, let me
that
tell
movement
you about that. The Forgotten Youth back in 1990. There was some youth that came to me, and there was a lot of police brutality back in Maryland, and police was just beating down the community all over the country. We see a lot of police violence. They were just getting away with it over and over again. So some youth came to me, and they was like, "Listen, we don't have nothing in this community."
Yeah.
I said, "Y'all don't. So let's meet and let's talk about the powers that be and hold them accountable."
Right.
So Jim Wellen was the mayor. At the time.
Yeah.
So I said, "Listen, they want a community center. We ain't got no community center here."
Yeah.
I took the children in a van down there to Margate. They seen the Olympic-style swimming pool.
Or JCC?
Basketball courts. Down there. And so they was like, wait a minute, that's only a few blocks away. Why come we don't have that?
Right.
With all the money and glitter that they see every day.
Yeah.
So I said, look, well, let's do something about it.
Right.
Talking is one thing.
Yeah.
So I helped organize the youth from Pitney, VC, back Maryland, all of them, Busby, all through community, mostly black youth, stood up. So they said, well, we want to do something. So I said, let's take it to the street. Mm-hmm. Because I learned from Virginia Avenue, the money. They listen to you. Yeah. And as long as you do it in a peaceful way.
Right.
So we organized the Forgotten Youth.
Right.
And we wanted to bring publicity to it. So at that time, they were talking about Reverend Al Sharpton. And Reverend Al Sharpton was just finishing up with Tawana Brawley issue. Mm-hmm. So everybody knew him from the press. So I got his number and I called him. And he answered. I said, well, look, man, we're pressed down here and the youth want to, shut the city down.
Right.
So he didn't believe me. Because he was with Don King.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson.
And he was coming down.
And Donald Trump. They flying in the helicopter. And Donald Trump was telling me everything fine.
Everything good. Everything good down
up in the sky, But we were able to bring them down, Reverend Sharpton down, and we walked them through the hood.
Yeah.
We walked them through a Lincoln Motel while people was homeless, where they was doing this gentrification act, and staying in a hotel and with different 10 people in a room. I just took them through VAC and Pitney Village. And the people seen us and they loved it because they seen somebody like Mike Tyson and everything, come around them. They weren't used to that.
They could relate to or
exactly.
Their color,
So what happened from that, we blocked the street off in 1990, and we went to jail, close to 200 people.
Wow.
Right in front of Pitney.
Wow.
The expressway. And all the charges was just dropped.
Right.
But we hurt their money where they had to listen.
Yeah.
And that was in July. By the time September come, they didn't want to, help with the community center and things like that.
Yeah. So they went all summer like that because it's a summertown.
Yeah,
they took a hit.
We knew they had one more day left. The Mr. America pageant.
Yo, Mr. America pageant,
Labor Day with Mr. America pageant, right?
That one right there is a hard one.
We said, okay, we going on the boardwalk.
Yeah,
they gonna have their parade. We gonna have our parade. Right? So we was getting ready to crown. We was crowning some of the youth, and some of the leadership and the housing projects, some of the sisters, and they started negotiating the people from I think it was like Mr. Horn.
Okay.
who's the director of the Miss America pageant. Said, listen, y'all can't, we've been doing this for years. This is our tradition. This is our history.
Yeah.
We're like, what about us?
What about us? There's always a problem when it crosses the other side of the line, right?
Yeah.
But we've been dealing with it for so long now. Yeah, but I'm sorry, continue.
So next thing I know, what happened was they had a meeting without me, right? And I'm like, why they have a meeting without me? I'm right here, Reverend Shopping and some of the other people, So I'm like, man, they had a meeting and they said, well, we're not going to have the thing. I said, well, you can talk to my youth about it. So we said, what is this all about? They said, you'll see, but we still going to go on the boardwalk. I said, okay, long as my word, that's all I got. I ain't got no money.
Yeah.
I got word, I got to stay here.
Yeah.
So we went on, the boardwalk. We did that. The next day, guess who was crowned Miss America? First black woman.
Wow.
Vanessa Williams. She don't
Vanessa
even
Williams?
Know,
Yeah,
she don't even know today. It was the youth of Atlantic City that helped.
To get her that crown.
Exactly. A black
she don't know if she see this episode of Major Key Podcast. Wow. Listen, man, that speaks volume because, again, you've been in the community, you've been involved in the community, and you seem to hold it down then, and you're still doing that. You're still being there for the community, you're still being there for the black folk, and we need people like you.
But your question was NAACP.
Yeah. Let's take it back there.
So what happened was during that time, the NAACP came out against us and the Forgotten Youth. I think his name was Pierre Hollingsworth. He had been involved in with the council people and some of the other people. They was like, nah, we ain't supporting the youth. But they were like, you're not supporting the youth. Well, that angered Reverend Sharpton more. He said, we really going to go out there now.
Wow.
And by a national organization, the representatives locally to go against it, that goes back to that jealous and envy I was talking about.
Yeah.
Because we weren't selling out. We wasn't accepting hush money and different things like that. We considered what we were doing because, people's lives on the line. So the NAACP was very much against us at that time. But these are some things. Later, I became president of the prison project for the NAACP.
Okay.
Before I started the national.
And what's that consist of?
I went into the prisons, brother, with the lifers.
Wow.
People had life sentences and went in there to organize them as an NAACP chapter. Now, that means I was putting my life on the line. I couldn't go in there with no bull.
Yeah.
Because they can smell it. They can sense fear. I mean, these lifers.
Yeah. They have nothing to lose.
They got nothing to lose. So they can beat you down, kill you in there, you ain't coming out.
Yeah.
So, I went in there and helped organize the brothers. Went through the Department of Corrections, and I got the whole manual and the whole budget. And I gave it to these brothers. I said, look, study this, man. This is y'all money. You know what I mean? This is our money, too, the community's money.
Right.
So, they should be spent towards rehabilitation and not these other things.
Right.
So these brothers started doing plans and everything. And don't you know some of them lifers came home?
Wow. They had their sentence overturned and think, oh my goodness.
What happened is lifers, if you gotta do 30 years or more, you're called a lifer.
Yeah.
So some of them did 30 years, they came home.
Right, okay.
It's been that long.
Yeah.
And one guy in there, Tone Henshaw, he's in Camden, man, started his own non-profit. He's meeting other brothers at the door, at the gate, what I mean, when they come home, helping them with jobs and employment.
Yeah.
And those are the type of networking we've been doing today.
Right.
But the brothers didn't forget, where he came from. He didn't get brothers like that. We didn't forget him.
Yeah.
So, those type of things are still going on today. And the works that I did then fit in with today because, words without works is nothing.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's got to be some worth in there. We want to say a quick shout out to a couple people watching here. We got Belly Bucks, Roderick Mazak, I know you know him, Tashira, Shawn Michael, Jose, Scott Henry, and Riz Burner Cotman. Shouts to you guys. They were all sitting making comments and salute to you. You're loved in the community, man.
Yeah, love my people, man.
People love you, and people got a lot of good things to say about you. I haven't heard, I haven't known you for that long, but I haven't heard anything, bad about you, and I'm not expecting to.
Tell them to call me up, man. We can
square it out, right?
Man, it makes me better.
Right.
So, I say, shop at me. Men shopping men, I shopping I.
Right. Let's fast forward now. Let's keep it moving and talk about the things that are more current now. There's a lot of things going on in Atlantic City, and I want to ask you this question, and you can bring me up to speed. But what has changed since the work that you was doing back then, right? Because it's still happening, a lot of it. Yeah. What has changed since then, if anything?
Well, like I said, I keep it 100. You have some modern day Uncle Toms and Aunt Susie. And what I mean by that, they sellouts in our community.
Right.
And they're in the political realm of things and into social organizations to be gatekeepers for the white man. So you won't look at who has the puppet strings, but they'll be controlling your mayors, your NAACP organizations, and others, and faith-based, to stay quiet.
Yeah.
Hush money. That's a major difference, even from Dr. Martin Luther King and others.
Yeah.
The major difference now, you got so much hush money that people would say, I'm not giving up this for my job. I'm not giving up this for my housing. But guess what? You lose it anyway.
Yeah.
And COVID showed us that.
Yeah.
So, we're saying to everybody, like, listen, where's your faith?
Yeah.
If your faith's going to be on those material things, you're going to lose it anyway.
Lose it all.
It don't last for name one kingdom that it has last forever.
Yeah, you're right.
Not one.
Not even Egypt, Greece, nothing.
All the gold in the world, they buried it with them and everything. Still, the conditions of the people got worse.
Yeah.
Because it was not that faith that we need to be fearful of the God that you believe in. That's it. So it's easy as that. So that's the major difference that I see today.
Okay.
Because back then, it was like, and during slavery and before that, it was like the slavery of the condition of what you see.
Right.
Right now, it's the slaves chains on our mind.
Yeah.
And now it's getting worse because the chains on our children's minds from the educational system.
Do you think technology has a lot to play with that?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
How many children that know how to sign their name?
Yeah. They don't even teach cursive anymore.
They don't teach them that. The three basic things we learned that they didn't want us to learn, and we call them the 3 R's: reading, writing, and arithmetic. That's what we call them.
Yeah.
Reading, writing, and arithmetic. So if you knew how to read, you knew how to survive.
Right.
You knew how to write, you knew how to survive. You know your math, you can survive. If you're not teaching that, what are you teaching in the classroom? And we knew about our culture.
What they're teaching them is it's okay to be acceptable to everything that's going on right now, all the BS. And we ain't going to tap too much into that.
Right.
Well, you know what I'm talking about. That's acceptable, but learning how to read and write and arithmetic, like you said, is not. But continue. Go ahead.
Yeah, they are basic survival skills.
Right.
And every other country, that's what they learning. I went to Africa, man. I seen in Ghana, and I seen young people in the 3rd grade. They was learning algebra and everything else without a book. We have books, and they took away the books and gave us computers.
Yeah.
So now we're programmed. I see it. Wow, look at how they program our children, and they're learning from the naturalness of learning how to read. How many children, if you can't read, how many of you think going to learn and read the Holy Quran? How many of them going to read the Torah?
Right.
How many of them going to read the Bible? They'll tell you, I ain't got time for that.
Yeah.
If they don't,
because they don't know how to do it.
They don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
They haven't been taught.
Yeah, man.
And it's like instantly. And that fast money from drug dealers, man.
Yeah.
Look at all the drug dealers we had.
Yeah, man.
They ain't existent.
Yeah.
Where they go?
They gone.
Where the money there?
Yeah.
It ain't in our communities.
Right. Wow, that's huge. That's something to think about right there, man. All that, and we had a few kingpins out here.
Oh man, crack was damaging our community, man.
And there's no money back in it. I don't know if anybody did it. I mean, I'm saying that without seeing it. I don't see it.
I'm gonna tell you where the money went. It went to prisons, building them up in the prison contracts to keep us incarcerated as slaves.
Right.
We still have the 13th Amendment.
Yeah.
That if you enslaved, that you still a slave if you're incarcerated. Now, other states have gotten rid of it. We tried to eliminate that here in New Jersey, and there was opposition against it.
Yeah. It was on the ballot this year in a few states.
Yeah, in a few states. We try to get it on the ballot here.
Yeah, I know they're not having that.
We
here.
went to the Senate and the Assembly. That's how law things become legal.
Yeah.
You know, it goes through the legislation.
Yeah.
And then it's administered by the executive branch of the government, which is the governor and so forth.
Right.
So we had to go to them, and we had different committees, and we went through the committees and everything. And it's sad that we was hit with opposition about being free as a slave in incarceration.
Is that something we really got to fight for?
Man, you got to look.
Like, come on.
You still got to fight for a right to vote.
Yeah.
Every 25 years, we got to ask black folks, got to ask the Constitution to amend it again for another 20-something years. So you can have a right to vote. So are we really included? Why us?
Yeah.
See, and everybody say it ain't about black. Yeah. Now, everything I said, research it.
Yeah.
Why did it happen to us?
Right.
The genes of the black man and woman in America it happened to. Right. Why does it continue to happen to black lives?
Yeah.
That's why it's a statement. Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
It's a statement. It's not an organization. It's a statement. Do Black Lives matter to you? And if it do, are you going to continue to kill each other? If Black Lives Matter, are you going to continue to have this systemic racism that says that it don't matter to different people? Atlantic City, perfect example. That's why we was marching and I got locked up recently. Yeah. Expressway 7. Shout out to my brothers. 7 black men. Only black men. They got arrested on July the 4th.
We're going to get into that, man. Shouts to everybody tuning in right now on Facebook. Everybody listening on TopClassRadio.com and the Top Class Radio app. This is Season 3, Episode 14 with Stephen Young. We got him in the building. And man, oh man, we getting into it. We talking about it. This is much appreciated. Before we closed out the season, I wanted to make sure my brother got up here and he gave it to us right. He has a lot of history, a lot of things that happened in Atlantic City that we need to know about to continue on trying to build a better community, to continue on trying to help each other and develop the community that our children are going to live in. You know, without a man like him, I wouldn't know the things that have happened within Atlantic City. I wasn't alive. I wasn't out here. So, you know, this is much appreciated to have a man as yourself on here on Major Key Podcast. So
thank you.
We were talking about the expressway. You're welcome, man. You're welcome.
I appreciate it again. You know, Major Key. I mean, that the word, I don't know where you get it from. Major, that means it's up front.
It's up front. And look, the community's in there. If you look at the key, that's the city right there.
I mean, I'm looking at the key here, I'm looking at the key there, and I was like, oh man, I didn't know the city was in it.
The city's right in there.
Now, you always hear about the key to the city. I feel like I'm the key to the city right now.
You are right now.
This is the key to opening the minds of our communities.
Right.
So we can rebuild it.
So the Expressway 7.
Yeah.
Let's break that down.
Yeah, break it down. Let me tell you, before we even started with Expressway 7, we were talking about, we knew the governor. The new Governor Murphy was there.
Right.
Was coming in. And you know we had a black woman, the Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver. So at the time, we were saying, some of black men in the community, we started what you call Black Men United Coalition. So it wasn't an organization, but it was a coalition of everybody using their talents and resources to come together with an agenda.
Right.
So in Alabama, they had a black agenda, and we sharpened that to fit into where we at today in Atlantic City and New Jersey. So we were able to network with brothers through all New Jersey, Newark, Essex County, Sussex County, Camden, Trenton, all over. So we were, when it happened with the COVID, right? We already had our plan. So I was writing it down. We were able, when they had the meeting, town hall meeting, when the governor first got in office, because he was using that, he was on the board, the national board of the NAACP, so he's not going to be president. I got a black woman here as lieutenant governor. So see, the our thing was, we knew that he was using a black woman as a shield. You have to go through her to get to me. So it's going to look like you're attacking a black woman. Right. Strategically.
Wow.
So we told her, we know we got to hold you accountable so we can get what we want.
Right.
So that
you down with us.
Exactly.
Like, what's up?
She was basically saying, shh, you're right. You got to hold me accountable.
Yeah.
And because it was like being a gatekeeper. So what we did from that, we gave them the black agenda, dealing with housing.
Right.
Because they had at the convention center on the boardwalk, they had a town hall meeting. Everybody else, they were saying, let's split it up into different sections and come up with a plan. We said, We got ours right here. Set it on the table. Say, here, this is what we want.
Right.
This is what we need. This is what we're prepared to do for ourselves. Just stay out of our way or give us the resources so we can build.
Right.
So dealing with health issues, dealing with criminal issues, dealing with housing, dealing with youth. We had a whole outline. It still exists today. We haven't stopped it. We knew that they probably wouldn't be carrying it out. So what happened when it came to George Floyd, what happened to George Floyd? 9 minutes of seeing a hanging for the first time in your life, a modern day lynching. Of a black man, and everybody was sitting at home because COVID and everything was shut down. It awakened the consciousness in the back of everybody's mind, the systemic racism that we knew existed all the time. But when you seen it from video, you seen it live, you seen it on social media, and they carried all over the world.
A few angles.
It raised the mindset of people, we ain't taking it no more.
Yeah.
Everywhere in the country, they took to the streets.
Yeah.
Atlantic City was quiet. We said, whoa, wait a minute.
It took a while.
I said, I know how to do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody else stay in the lane.
Yeah.
Took to the street in May. This was before they arrested the police officer. It was the black people in the street, especially the youth, that rose up and said, you got to arrest this white guy.
Yeah.
That we seen kill a white man, kill a black man outright in front of everybody.
Yeah.
So what happened from that, we were able to, in May, have a peaceful protest. After we left, the politicians tried to tell everybody to go home. We already told them to go home.
Yeah.
People with us left.
Right.
Politicians got there trying to parade the thing. Next thing you know, a riot broke out almost. You know, now a lot of loitering. You know, so they started going in the stores and people started seeing it. They started coming from out of town. We had nothing to do with that.
There was a lot of out of towners that.
A lot of out of town.
Yeah, it wasn't really Atlantic City that was part of that.
Exactly. So what happened was, and what happened if the politicians knew the people, they would know how to deal with them.
Yeah.
We did.
Right.
For 3 hours, we had no problem.
Right.
So then, and so we said, look, the show is not us. We're going back out there in June.
Right.
June the 6th of 2020, we go back out there again. And we went through started at the police station, right in their face. Then we walked down towards the outlets and doing the walk. Then we went on the boardwalk. And then we came back around to the police station. No violence, very peaceful. We were showing them that wasn't us out there.
Yeah.
This is how we do it.
Right.
So then, July the 4th was coming. They asked us what we wanted. The black agenda. Yeah. You had it for 2 years. Here it is again. Here.
Wow.
Do something. Work with us. Get this done.
Yeah.
We want to meet with the decision makers.
Right.
Not the so-called buffers or the gatekeepers. We want to meet with the decision.
I like that word, the buffers.
You know what I mean?
Once they clean it out, they wipe it, huh?
Exactly. So we wanted to meet with the Casino Association.
Yeah.
That means the casino's representative. We want to meet with them. You can make decisions how we want you to do. Hire executives.
Right.
And get some contracts from black businesses in the community so we can sustain ourselves so the dollar can circulate here.
Right.
We said to the hospital, you got to bring back the maternity ward. You can't be born in Atlantic City anymore because you took away our birthright, our human right to be born. We want it back.
Right.
Then we
That's
went
so
out,
much to ask for?
Yeah, a birthright.
Right.
And then we said the pediatric ward. When our children are sick, people got to go 15 to 20 minutes away to the hospital.
Yeah.
When you were born, you got to go 20 minutes. So we told them.
Either Pomona or
yeah. So the infant mortality rate that they talk about all over, like the infant mortality rate, that means that infants are dying before they're even born. Because the mother can't get to the hospital that was 5 minutes away. So you killing most of who that can't afford a cab or a taxi to get back and forth?
Yeah.
Us. That's a genocide. Bring it back.
Yeah.
These were some of the things. We were talking about the community center. We was talking about all these things. And we wanted to talk to the powers that be, the executive of the hotels and so forth. So what happened, the mayor put together a team of the buffers and tell us to come to a meeting. We tell him like, who's who, right?
Yeah.
He said, well, the Casino Association, okay. I think we could talk to them. Any casino owners in the room? No. Is the hospital here? Oh, those managers. No. We said, well, no, we want the decision making. The managers don't make decisions.
Right.
So when we seen that, we said, Mayor, this is not political. Not against you. Can you excuse yourself? Mm-hmm. Oh no, this is my meeting. I called this meeting.
Wow.
Now I'm seeing the ego come out. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, if you want it to be your meeting and you want it to be political, then we'll just leave. I had a lawyer, 2 lawyers with me, and some other brothers, Brother Malik was with me. Okay. So what happened, we gathered our things, and we had already set up a meeting with Hard Rock.
Okay.
Jen Gingoli and Mr. Allen, who was the Hard Rock president of all the Hard Rocks.
Right.
We knew Hard Rock casinos was basically formed from the Native Americans. Right? But the front that they use and to be management is mostly those white folks.
Yeah.
But we knew that they would feel, the Native Americans would know how it feels to be on the reservation. Because in Atlantic City, you're on a reservation.
Right.
A plantation is a reservation.
That is exactly what it is, man.
You understand what I'm saying? They just changed the word. So
you just changed the word, but you can't change the meaning.
So we knew if we would meet with them, they would feel what we feel and deal with us and not the politics.
Yeah.
And we'll get something done in our community. So we met with them, handshake with our lawyers and everything.
Right.
Come out of that meeting, we ready to go.
Yeah.
Next thing we know, the mayor twisted that all around. No, don't meet with them. Whole attitude. So we go out there on July the 4th, 2020, because one thing about your word is all you got.
That's it. That's it.
You
don't have that, what do you have? It's over.
That's it. So we went out there on July the 4th of 2020, and we started at the police station, and we walked down to the expressway. And when we got to the expressway wasn't no cars nowhere. Was no cars or nothing. So when we got there, all of a sudden the mayor's truck started driving up. All of a sudden he's pointing out 7 black men. So the police was there with their shields. They were there with their machine guns,
riot gear,
military, and the riot gear.
Wow.
And we're like, we peaceful. We've been peaceful. We showed you close to 100 times I did in Atlantic City.
Yeah.
Peaceful, no problem.
So for the listeners and the watchers out there, the expressway, the actual expressway down, like where people with cars are driving, and you guys are walking, or is it like the beginning of the expressway in Atlantic City?
The beginning when you come in Atlantic City.
Right.
When you're driving.
Where the walk is.
Right, where the walk is.
Okay, got you. I just want to paint the picture for the audience here.
Right in front of where the walk is.
Got you.
You got the light with the expressway, and across the street is the walk.
Got you. All right.
We were right there. No cars, no traffic.
Got you.
None.
I'm with you.
Next thing I know, we were pointed out 7 black men. We pointed out. We go to jail. We no resisting, no nothing.
Wow.
We was manhandled. Shotguns and machine guns and military equipment was pointing at women, children, and babies. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And this was the time. Don't forget, this just happened to George Floyd.
Right.
A few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So we're saying, like, you treating us like this? So what happened from that,
It's like they didn't learn.
Yeah, they didn't care. And they militarized and they politicized law enforcement against us. So we felt like the system was being challenged by us going out there peacefully. So that's what we mean by systemic racism.
Right.
Because the other part of that, you get arrested, right?
Yeah.
So we go in the jail cell. That's how we came with the expressway cell. We was on the expressway. We looked around. There were 7 of us. All of us black.
Wow.
There was a white woman out there.
All kind of racism.
All kind. You can name it. No one touched. Just us. So, things happen for a reason. Something good come out of it,
Yeah.
And the challenge of the system is worth it. Because we're challenging the Constitution as well.
Right.
So, here it is. It's been 3 years.
It has.
We still going. Our next court date is January the 30th, 2023. This happened July the 4th of 2020.
So they keep postponing it. I watched on one of your shows, they say they had just postponed it. A few weeks ago, you had a court date, and they postponed it.
That's right, October the 31st.
I watched the show, and you were talking about it.
And Halloween.
Yeah.
They wanted us to come to court on Halloween.
Yeah.
Now, we knew it was going to be either trick or treat.
A treat. That's what you said. You said that on the show.
so we were ready either way.
Oh, man.
So we're not getting justice and being treated equally and fairly from the judge.
Yeah.
And we're going through trial. And here it is. You got a black judge, Judge Fauntleroy, is in Pleasantville. Not Langston, it's in Pleasantville.
Oh, the case, you did say it's in Pleasantville, yeah.
Exactly. We don't know what
Why
the
is that?
is. The
jurisdiction it has nothing to do with, wow.
So what?
Because Pleasantville doesn't start to the toll.
Right.
That's the Pleasantville Plaza. Anything before that, because Atlantic City patrols that area.
Yep. And so,
that doesn't make any sense.
As a matter of fact, when it comes to the expressway, you know who have jurisdiction?
The state police.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
So you know that.
Yeah.
So what are they doing?
Wow.
So why are you trying to prosecute 7 black men that wasn't even your jurisdiction?
Right. You should be throwing that out.
So we subpoenaed the mayor, police chief, about 8 other police officers,
right,
the city attorneys, some council people, because it's part of a conspiracy of the system.
Right.
That's against us as black people, and it's about to be exposed. So we went in there, so there won't be no plea deals happening.
Right.
We went in there pro se. 7 black men. Have you ever seen 7 black men going into court in this system? State versus our name. Pro se, representing yourself. If you have, show me.
Wow.
In this country.
So there's no attorneys, all you guys are representing yourself.
Pro se.
You got the big one, though.
Thank you.
Can't go against that. You can't go against that. I don't care what you're doing, how you're
That's
doing
what
it.
we have.
But I'll tell you one thing.
That's what faith is. And we're going to show you the power of the faith of belief.
Absolutely.
And without a weapon.
Without a weapon.
No guns. They had shotguns. They had the law with them. They got the judge with them.
Yeah.
So we're going through this whole process. So, the political process. You're talking about the legislative branch. By the mayor being out there and the governor being involved with the things we're talking about. Yeah. This is deep.
This is deep.
So we're talking about the executive branch, the legislative branch. Now we're talking about the judicial branch because we're in the courtroom.
In the
3
justice
branches of government.
Wow. That is those are the 3.
That's the system.
Yeah, wow.
And it's being challenged because of what happened to George Floyd. Because it wasn't for him, what happened to him, I don't know if you've been out there.
See, the fact of the matter is, we could say George Floyd, but the list is long. George Floyd really made it that much easier for us to, to see it more. But remember, Mike Brown was right around there too. Yeah. We didn't have the video to Mike Brown. That's the only difference. We didn't have that video. It was all speculation, not speculation. It was, what people were saying, hearsay, it was this, it was that. But we had that killing on tape.
Well, before
George Floyd.
We had Rodney King. Everybody seen Rodney King.
Everybody.
They seen the club
live.
Kind of hit him.
We seen that live.
See that live.
I was a kid, man. I remember that.
Yeah. So
that was just like the OJ. We seen that live too.
Right.
See, that's another show.
Yeah. But you're exactly right. So those are just some of the things that we've been up against.
Yeah.
And I don't pat myself on the back for none of that.
Right.
I just found out, that's the lane that I'm belong in. Because I tell everybody, if you go out of your lane, you have an accident. It's like driving a car. You didn't let the lane. But I do say this, because some people say you wear a lot of hats. I don't wear a lot of hats. It's just a lot of shoes I wear. Sometimes you got to put on your boots. Sometimes you put on your sneakers. Sometimes you put on your shoes.
Yeah.
I'm just changing shoes.
Yeah, man.
And what happened is, don't get jealous and envy of what you see I'm doing. I'm not doing it for myself.
Right.
All this has been for humanity. And if you were doing your part,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have to do as much as I do.
Since that first blackmail that they try to give you. Since then, you haven't stopped. And that's what I want to say, man. I really want to give you the credit. And it's an honor and a pleasure having you here because you're still fighting for the black people. You're still fighting for humanity, but the black people getting oppressed. And it hasn't stopped since 76, right? You said?
Yeah, 78. Yeah.
78. It didn't stop since 78. You're still seeing this. A little more current. Since this Expressway 7, I just seen a video of you. You were live at a store.
Right.
You know, one of our young brothers got killed, so you were there pretty much showcasing and bringing everyone together. You know, and you had her on your show.
That's right.
You had her on your show.
And we've been, you know, I'm the president of National Action Network.
Yeah.
11 Hour Shopton, South Jersey chapter. So what we try to do is pick up the torch of Dr. Martin Luther King. Okay. And the blood stains of his footprints. We try to live and make it peace of the marches and being forefront for standing up for humanity. Right. And one of the things is that happens when it comes to police brutality, as well as the violence in our community. Another thing, I'm a peacekeeper from Dennis Muhammad. He started in 2009. And we have been in existence for 12 years in Lang City, training volunteers in CPR, first aid, and the proper way of handling people in conflict resolution. Wow. We walk through the community with orange shirts on saying, I am present for peace. Yeah. So we were able to, when this young lady called, and all this violence is going on in our community. You see in Renaissance Plaza down Atlantic Avenue. Her son was killed on Atlantic Avenue. Yeah. And the way he was killed, it's not the first one. Yeah. So the police have had cameras there. They had press conference with the media and the politicians saying, we're going to clean it up. Nothing has happened. In front of these stores, you got drug dealers going in and out the stores, selling drugs, selling the paraphernalia. The store owners are just sitting there, not doing nothing. They saying they reporting it to law enforcement. Law enforcement having it under investigation. So we said, wait a minute. We can do this ourselves. Mm-hmm. So when she said she wanted to do something, we said we're going to go down there and we're going to talk to some of them owners. So we did a balloon release, a vigil, right there. But we went to one of the stores. Matter of fact, we went to 5 stores. We found out one of them was owned by a council person.
Yeah, that's the one I seen the video of.
24 hours.
Yeah, 24, yep.
Of this type of thing going on in our community. Yeah. So some of the store owners, we actually said, well, you mind closing early? Maybe that would be, can't we do a 30-day trial? Right. Of just closing for early to 9 o'clock. I said, how much money are you gonna lose? He said, I won't lose nothing but probably some cigarette money. And, you know, I said, that's not worth a life. Yeah. So he understood it, but nobody never talked to him to relate to him. One store owner said, I can't close my store, so if I close it, they're gonna break in it, and I won't have nothing. So I said, you've been held hostage on Atlantic Avenue with all the security and the police. So
they have other stores there. It's not happening frequently like that. So that's an excuse.
Exactly. So we know that because we live this. Right. So we talked to some of the young people down there, and we was telling them, like, well, why are you hanging out here? Yeah. One brother said, man, I need a job, man. One brother said, I need a GED. Yeah. I said, well, hey, give me your number. Yeah. Let's connect the resources. Right. So we said, well, as peacekeepers, we don't mind. We've been doing it, interacting all the time. Yeah. We don't tell people stop this. No. We don't call the police. We ain't walking with the police. Yeah. Facts. You know what I mean? I'm just telling you the truth, straight up.
Listen, bro, I'm with you. If you know me, you know me. You know the pilot. You know
the credibility here. You know what I mean? Yeah. They do their part.
We handle this on our own.
Exactly. Facts. Because their part, they haven't worked. Yeah. If you add up the amount of money that the state and the city has spent on Atlantic Avenue, Renaissance Plaza, and through our community trying to prevent violence, it's in the millions, almost $1 billion in Atlantic City alone. And don't come up and don't have a solution. Yeah. So we told the state, and at the council meeting, we told the council people, and we told the police chief, listen, you had your opportunity, and just stay out of our way. Right. We have the means, you have the resources. If you don't want to network together to get it done, just move out the way. Yeah. Our thing is, we have the credibility. We have men and women that don't mind going down in our communities, interacting with the young people, giving them something else other than the negativity that's going on. Right. We can talk to the store owners and say, listen, you participate, you need to be a part of it. Casino owners, it affects you too, because people read the newspaper.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But you don't, They haven't been doing nothing.
Yeah.
But what happened is, all of a sudden, after we did that, the next day in the newspaper, the casino's executives saying something needs to be done with our city with the crime. Okay, why didn't you reach out? But you reach out to the people that the police department and the politicians that had the control all the time.
Yeah, and they haven't done nothing with it.
We got cameras everywhere in this city. Some of the stores have cameras. How can you have surveillance?
Yeah.
For 6 months to a year, seeing shootings, drugs, crime, hanging out, and you ain't doing nothing. You talking about you investigating. So you're gonna let it get to the level of people get dying?
I think they're selective with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
They pretty much pick who they want to go to jail and to bring things on.
Hoops or bigger case. You mess with our investigation. What about our investigation?
Yeah.
Most of the law enforcement that we're talking about, they don't live here.
I was just about to say, it's easy to patrol and to police a city you don't live in and allow certain things to happen there. You don't live there. So you go home after you come here, and I was thinking about it. I was driving down Atlantic City. I come there frequently, right? The amount of police presence that you see in Atlantic City, in the neighborhoods, and you're just walking home, it's intimidating, right? You drive in Ventnor, you drive in Margate, you drive Egg Harbor Township, you only see the police present on the road where the cars are. You don't see them within the neighborhoods. You don't see them within those developments. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
They're not driving up and down the street. You see somebody jogging down the street and see a cop coming down. No, they only get called if something happens there.
That's right.
But in the neighborhoods of the urban community, in and out. And it's almost intimidating to the kids. It's intimidating to the people that live there. Why do I have to have a cop behind my back and I'm walking to the store? You know? Like watching you. So.
And it's an insult because we're talking about everybody's a taxpayer.
Right.
All the people that say they don't get involved, even the white folks in the casino, you paying federal taxes, federal money coming to the police department.
Right.
State money comes to the police department. You paying taxes for all of them. So we're saying it's about accountability. Mm-hmm. And that's all we're saying.
Right.
Get out the car and walk.
Yeah.
We want you to be servants.
Yeah.
We are your customers.
Absolutely.
So treat us like
paying customers.
You're paying customers big time, man. Hey, we should have top security, man.
Top
you should be safe everywhere you go.
Yeah,
we only talking about, 48 blocks?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. You can't secure that?
Yeah, Atlantic City's not that big.
So you're exactly right with your statement that you made, man.
Yeah, man.
And it's about, if we have solutions to that, why not work with us to get it done?
Yeah.
Unless you don't want to see it done.
Yeah.
And you know, some of us have put our life on the line doing this, you know, and they getting paid. We basically volunteering.
Yeah,
and it
absolutely.
don't make no sense, man. And then they retire, get another job, watching the cameras. That's what happened to a lot of. You go in right now at the public safety building. Yeah. Most of them down there, they're watching these cameras are ex-police officers.
Yeah.
So now they got their pension, and they still getting $1 that some of the civilians can get, $25, $30 an hour to watch a camera. I mean, really? And then you just looking the other way? And it's about account. Now they said they busted, got 30 pounds of drugs and fentanyl and all that. That's after the fact. Mm-hmm. You watched it for 6 months, and that's all you got. You should have got all of it.
Facts.
Where the guns coming from?
Yeah.
Right now, you know how many young people have guns in our community?
Yeah.
Man? Every other young brother that you see. Yeah. When we was walking down there for the vigil with women and children, them brothers was stacked. I mean, the police know it. Yeah. They know it too.
They're selective.
Because you know why?
Yeah.
They're protecting themselves because who's going to protect them, bro?
Right.
We don't get no protection.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how are they going to get protection?
Yeah, man. Listen, man, before we end the show, this has been a great show. Man, oh, man. It's been a great show, but I want to squeeze this in here. We do a segment on Major Key Podcast called The Key to Success. Stephen Young, I want to ask you, throughout your whole years of doing your activism, being in the community and really caring and doing your thing here, man, what has been the key to success as I hand you the key on Major Key Podcast?
Being a public servant. I think that's the duty of every man, woman, and child, is to serve your community in a peaceful manner. And you can do that by having the key to success. And it's about loving yourself first. And we have not learned to love ourselves first. If you love yourself, you would not be killing yourself and using drugs and putting it into your system and hurting your people. You would be about how to survive in a peaceful manner. Everybody wants peace. We're living And everybody have that dash between their name. When they was born, that dash, and when you leave here. That little dash is your service to the key to success.
Wow.
That's what I can leave you with, brother.
Wow. Major Key Podcast, Season 3, Episode 14 with Stephen Young. This has been a pleasure. Man, let the people know before we close out where they can find you. You have anything coming up? You have a meeting, town hall meeting coming up in Atlantic City, right?
Yes, sir. We have two things coming up. One is you can every Thursday I'm on WEHA. That's www.weha.com. We have gospel.com as well as on, and that's every week on Thursdays.
I'm blacking out. Say it loud. I'm blacking. I'm proud.
5 to 6 p.m. Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. And these days, it's hard to be on anywhere, giving information and knowledge about our history, where we come from and where we going. And every time I'm on there at 5 o'clock, I give a moment of silence, of prayer, as well as I talk about the history of what we're doing and what's going on in our community. And then I go into information that can wake the people up and get the chains off your brain. So every Thursday from 5 to 6 p.m., you can reach me at 1-888-400-1236. And also there's a town hall meeting coming up on November the 30th in Atlantic City. And that's with the Supervision Advisory Board. I used to be on the Civilian Advisory Board as well as on the planning of the Atlantic City Planning Board. That's one thing I didn't get a chance to talk about. But I left both of those positions after what happened to George Floyd because I wanted to use my planning skills and my skills of interaction of the Civilian Advisory Board because they didn't have subpoena powers. So what the use of being a board? You ain't got no power.
Oh, man.
So we had to just hold them accountable to having a public meeting and a town meeting. So we want everybody to come City Hall, 4:30 p.m. on November the 30th, and that's going to be very interesting this time. We want people to come and speak their mind.
I'll be there.
The truth. Good.
You sent me the on Messenger. You sent me the notice for this one. I didn't get the one from before, but I'll be at this one. I'm definitely going to be there. I seen the video. I need to be there.
Yeah,
you know?
and the city has another meeting coming every 2 weeks. They say they're going to have what they call City Stat or CompStat, and they've been gathering information and data. I mean, when I had to tell them, look, we know where the problems is. We don't need no data.
Yeah.
we need some bodies.
We are the data.
Problem, right? What are you talking about? We know what area the problem is. We can see it in the eyes every time we walk or drive down Lag Avenue. And you talking about you need the data to show you where the problem's at?
Yeah.
We need to show you. We got to show you where a pothole is, and you driving over and tearing up our cars. So that's just an affront to say they're doing something.
Yeah.
And it's a waste of funding. Though that's the thing. Remember I said about the resources?
Right.
That resources can go towards some of our young people that's in the street to have a decent job that they can sustain themselves, or help them with a decent business. So the priorities are messed up.
Yeah.
And it's about being proactive and not reactive. I mean, we only see the police after shooting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where they at before?
Yeah.
You know, those things are very serious. So we invite everybody out. Again, 888-400-1236. And I look forward to coming back on here.
Absolutely.
To give an update what's going on.
Season 4. We're about to close out Season 3. We have to get you in Season 3, but look forward for Stephen Young on Season 4. This has been a pleasure once again. I really appreciate it. I'm humbled and I'm honored to have you on my platform. And we're going to keep it moving and growing with everything that we're doing. This is not the last time you see us working together. So salute to everybody out there that tuned in on Facebook, everybody that listened on topclassradio.com and the Top Class Radio app. This video will also be on YouTube. If you don't see it on Facebook anymore, the live, you know me, man. I like to edit it, I like to have it official, and I'll put it on YouTube, and you'll be able to tell a friend to tell a friend to get the insight that this man has given us today. It's been a pleasure. Major Key Podcast, Season 3, Episode 14 with Stephen Young. Salute, my brother. Yeah. Let's get it.
Peace and blessings, everyone.
I told you, man, we took flight, ain't no coming down. Yeah. Let's get money. Yeah.